Hello everyone, welcome to my channel SW Metro official channel.
Kody Brown's most recent disclosure regarding his life with Robyn indicates trouble to come. Following his divorce from Mary, Janelle, and Christine, Kody Brown's monogamous devotion to Robyn Brown may appear to be a fresh start. But underneath that new arrangement, there's probably the same unstable reliance that caused his plural family to become unstable. This is because rejection, divorce, and estrangement forced Kody into monogamy rather than his choosing it because he developed emotional simplicity. That is definitely not a solution, and Robyn is now obviously carrying the emotional burden that was formerly shared by 4 women. Kody flourished on attention saturation as well as love in previous seasons. Like a performance going through stages, he cycled through houses, thriving off of being wanted, chased, and even disliked. There is no longer that ecosystem. His only emotional outlet these days is Robyn. This was made clear in Sister Wives Season 19, when Robyn was having a hard time adjusting to her new surroundings without her sister wives. The fundamental issue, Kody's need isn't only romantic. Kody's need to be noticed is what weakens their new marital arrangement, not a lack of love. He had several mirrors thanks to polygamy. If one wife questioned him, another would support him. Intimacy was restored by another if it had been rejected. His identity was nourished by that never-ending cycle of comfort, chaos, and control. Despite her devotion, Robyn is unable to simultaneously reflect all of that. Even worse, she is now solely responsible for maintaining Kody's emotional self-worth, which has never been able to support itself. Although it's a high-maintenance spouse arrangement, Kody's decades-long identity is currently collapsing structurally. Kody is at a stage in his life where he is unsure of how to be himself without approval from others. Therefore, Kody can be left without a backup plan if Robyn falters, tires, disagrees, or even marginally withdraws. No turning. No buffer. And that can be a little challenging to get used to at this age. Already, the emotional foundation is collapsing. It won't be shocking if the audience witnesses Robyn, who at one point appeared to be the most emotionally stable wife, losing her composure in the event of a future series. Throughout the previous season, she used coded language about loss and allegiance, defensive defenses, and nervous tears in her confessional moments. These aren't indications of a lady enjoying a one-on-one relationship, rather, they show someone preparing for collapse while attempting to maintain composure, or even just feeling guilty. She is, after all, not only providing for her husband but also a broadcast legacy that has already lost its foundation, and she likely holds herself somewhat responsible for it. However, Kody's interpretation of monogamy may also be based on a lack of emotional development and restitution. Naturally, until that necessary maturity arrives, it would be an attempt to regain control after losing the others, at least initially. But cutting back on participation doesn't address a fundamental inequity. That, if anything, focuses the dysfunction. Why it's likely that this monogamous era will come to light in public. Misaligned needs have been the subject of every Sister Wives season, and this one is no different, albeit with a greater focus. Although Kody may now use monogamous rhetoric, his actions, emotional outbursts, control problems, and animosity toward his ex-wives show that his inner landscape hasn't altered. In plurality, his identity was forged. Now that it's gone, Robyn's waning patience is the only thing firmly establishing his sense of self. Furthermore, she can't bear that burden indefinitely. The reality is that Kody's wants are constructed in accordance with his accustomed practice of having several women. Therefore, this version of their marriage may not last because, although it is a partnership, it is also a survival pact, supported by a shared fear of becoming irrelevant, looking foolish, or acknowledging that the dream was not realized. But that just takes into account what has transpired in their lives thus far. It is possible for Kody and Robyn to have a happy ending and create a happily ever after, but only if they are prepared to work on themselves, especially Kody. A polygamous family is no longer being shown on the show. It chronicles a gradual emotional breakdown that is masquerading as monogamy. With any luck, they and their extended family will develop the maturity needed to take in that implosion and turn it into a positive force. During a recent sit-down on Sister Wives Season 19, Kody opened up in a vulnerable moment. He shared that being with Robyn alone has been harder than I thought and admitted, "I used to think I wanted this, just one wife. But now I'm realizing that I never really understood what that meant." This isn't the first time Kody has expressed discontent or confusion, but what makes this confession different is that it comes after he's finally living the life he supposedly wanted. Christine left him in 2021, Janelle followed soon after, and Mary formally ended their relationship not long after. That leaves Kody and Robyn, the duo who seemed most aligned. So why the unease? Kody's words didn't stem from a lack of love for Robyn, but from a growing awareness that monogamy isn't delivering the satisfaction he expected. For someone who thrived in the dynamics of polygamy, with its built-in emotional rotation, drama, validation, and purpose, monogamy might feel confining, even lonely. And for Robyn, it could be the beginning of a long and draining uphill battle. 2. Kody was pushed into monogamy, not drawn to it. One of the most overlooked elements of Kody's shift to monogamy is that it wasn't born from a place of clarity, emotional maturity, or spiritual growth. It was born from rejection. Christine left first, fed up with feeling unloved. Janelle was exhausted by the emotional distance and favoritism. Mary had long existed on the fringe of the family, and their relationship had been dead for years. Kody didn't choose monogamy, it chose him by default. This matters because a forced transition rarely brings healing. Kody's emotional survival used to be distributed across 4 women. He fed off the energy, admiration, and even conflict within the family. Now, that ecosystem is gone. Robyn is left to fill that emotional void, and that expectation is not only unfair, it's unsustainable. 3. The emotional echo chamber. For years, Kody operated in a world where if one wife challenged him, another would support him. If one withdrew affection, another compensated. He maintained power by playing emotional chess across households. He wasn't just a husband, he was a patriarch, a central figure in multiple lives. With that infrastructure gone, Kody is now in an emotional echo chamber with one person. That's a fragile setup for someone who's always needed more than just love, he's needed constant affirmation. Robyn can't be 4 people at once. She can't argue with him, validate him, emotionally balance him, and absorb his insecurities all at once. Yet, she seems to be trying. And that's where the cracks are beginning to show. 4. Robyn's growing emotional burden. In season 19, Robyn's emotional state has noticeably shifted. Once poised, she now appears constantly anxious, on the verge of tears in nearly every confessional. Her dialogue is filled with justifications for Kody's behavior, apologies for how things turned out, and fears that everything is falling apart. This doesn't sound like a woman at peace in monogamy. It sounds like someone overwhelmed, isolated, and guilt-ridden. Robyn has publicly expressed that she didn't want to be Kody's only wife. Her entire identity was built around being part of a sisterhood. Now, she's become a scapegoat to viewers and possibly even to herself. If Kody isn't happy, if the family imploded, if the dream died, Robyn might carry the blame internally, regardless of whether it's fair. 5. Kody's identity crisis. For all of Kody's faults, and fans are quick to list them, he has always been transparent about wanting a big family. He thrived as a polygamist, not just for religious reasons but because it suited his personality. The daily activity, the logistical chaos, the constant problem-solving, it gave him purpose. Now, he seems lost. His relationship with many of his children is fractured. His role as father and husband has diminished. He's no longer a leader of a large family but a man in a quiet house with one wife and a lot of regrets. That's not a judgment, it's a psychological unraveling. And he knows it. Monogamy might offer stability, but for someone whose sense of self was forged in plurality, it feels like a kind of exile. 6. A partnership or a survival pact? The current state of Kody and Robyn's relationship feels less like a fresh start and more like a survival pact. They're the last ones standing, clinging to each other amid a wreckage of broken bonds and public scrutiny. That kind of bond is powerful, but it's also heavy. They share mutual fears, of being alone, of being blamed, of losing relevance. That's not fertile ground for romantic renewal, it's a trauma bond. And over time, if not addressed, trauma bonds erode even the most devoted relationships. 7. Fans are already seeing the cracks. Sister Wives fans are known for their sharp observation skills, and many have already pointed out that Kody seems less emotionally regulated in monogamy. His on-camera rants haven't stopped. His resentments are still raw. His need for control still flares. Robyn, meanwhile, looks exhausted. She was once the polished wife, the favorite, the one who always seemed to win Kody's heart. But now she's the only one left, and fans aren't sure that's a prize anymore. Some viewers have even speculated that Robyn is beginning to regret the way things turned out. Others wonder if she and Kody will eventually separate, even if it's years down the road. 8. Kody needs therapy, not just loyalty. One of the saddest truths about Kody's current life is that he still doesn't seem fully self-aware. While he occasionally admits to mistakes, he often reframes the narrative to protect his ego. He blames his ex-wives for not trying hard enough, for turning the kids against him, or for being unkind. But rarely does he talk about therapy, introspection, or growth. And that's the missing ingredient. Monogamy won't work if it's built on blame. Robyn can't carry Kody through this era alone. If he truly wants peace, healing, and a functional marriage, he needs to do the emotional work, not just lean on Robyn as his emotional crutch. 9. What the future might hold. It's difficult to predict what the next season of Sister Wives might bring, but based on Kody's confession and the emotional tone of the show's latest episodes, several outcomes seem possible. Public breakdown. Kody may have another explosive confrontation, either with a child, Robyn, or a member of the extended family, revealing just how fragile things have become. Robyn's rebellion. Robyn, who has always seemed devoted, might finally reach her limit. Whether it's a quiet retreat or a dramatic confrontation, viewers may see her begin to pull away emotionally. Separation. While unlikely in the near future, a long-term separation is possible if emotional dysfunction continues unchecked. They're both under immense pressure, and it may take more than love to survive it. Renewal. On a more hopeful note, if both Kody and Robyn recognize the emotional patterns at play, seek therapy, and recommit with new awareness, they could rebuild. But it would require a level of honesty and humility Kody has rarely shown. 10. Conclusion. A monogamy built on sand. Kody Brown's confession about life with Robyn isn't just a vulnerable moment, it's a warning sign. It reveals a man unmoored from his former identity, a marriage under stress, and a future far from certain. Robyn may have been the last one standing, but that doesn't mean she signed up to carry the weight of Kody's emotional transformation alone. As Sister Wives continues to document this unique and unraveling journey, one thing is clear: monogamy isn't the resolution it was meant to be. It's just a new chapter in a very old story, one still filled with control, validation-seeking, and emotional instability. Whether Kody and Robyn find their footing or fall apart in front of the cameras, fans will be watching closely. Not out of cruelty, but because this saga, at its core, is about human connection, heartbreak, and the complicated dance of love, ego, and evolution. And right now, that dance looks dangerously close to ending in a stumble. When Sister Wives star Robyn Brown revealed who she really was, the fallout was epic. Sister Wives Season 19 ended with a shocking revelation: Robyn Brown is still alive and well, more prominent, more confident, and more unrepentant than ever after a season characterized by dysfunction, divorce, and distance. Robyn has quietly emerged as the final wife and possibly the one who received all she desired, while Meri, Christine, and Janelle are establishing new lives after Kody. What started out as a difficult time for Kody and Robyn has now changed into a new reality in which she is no longer hiding her part in the disintegration of the family. Robyn Brown achieved her lifelong goals. Robyn eventually acknowledged that she has always been Kody's preference during the Sister Wives Tell-All, Part 3. This was the main tension of the program for years, since Kody's excessive focus on Robyn's needs and demands made his first 3 spouses feel ignored. Robyn acknowledged in the first few episodes of Sister Wives Season 19 that she was having trouble being faithful to one partner. The reality star claims that she wanted the ex-wives to reconcile with Kody so that they could once again be a cohesive team. But when that failed to materialize, she began to feel trapped in her marriage. All of her prior claims, however, were disproved during the tell-all when she admitted that she was, in fact, given preferential treatment over her former colleagues. Robyn acknowledged to host